city, in your state, and in your country. And that's what we're here to do. I also want to give a shout out, if I can, to my friend, Mr. Derek, listening to me from Atlanta. Thanks, Derek, for giving me a call this week, and introducing yourself, and having a very nice conversation. And all the rest of you, if you're out there listening to me, give me a call, send me an email, post something on Facebook, positive always, of course, so that I can start communicating with you and giving you your shout out on your Bucket List Buster. I'm going to take another quick break, and when I come back, we're going to talk pickleball. That's right. Pickleball is what we're talking about today on this third episode of Sports Travel. I'm loving talking to you guys today. So I'll be right back. This is Karen Duncan, your Bucket List Buster.
Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why is it so hard to make a buck? I know I have. Hi, I'm Sandra Yancey, founder and CEO of eWomen Network. What I have discovered after going from the brink of bankruptcy to running a multi-million-dollar award-winning business is this. You can't build $1 million dream hanging around minimum wage mindsets. My mission is 1 million women entrepreneurs generating $1 million in annual revenue. So here's what I've done. I've created the mother of all entrepreneur success programs that you can access online on your time. It's called Monetize Me Now. It's a 7-module online course that is 100% my success formula, covering mindset, mission, management, motivation, marketing, and measure. Come on, take my hand and I'll show you the way to learn to earn flowing revenue for your business. Visit monetizemenow.com for details.
You're listening to Your Bucket List Buster on eWomen Network. Welcome back, everybody. Karen Duncan here, your Bucket List Buster. And so this is another episode that we're talking about sports travel and sports tourism. Last week we talked a little bit about why it's important, the economic impact on a destination, a positive experience and tourism experience for people to come to a place and have something in common and enjoy and support all of the hospitality industry within a destination surrounded by sports, of course. So today we're going to talk about pickleball. What is pickleball, you ask? Well, pickleball is a fun sport that combines many elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. How did I find out about pickleball? Well, if you remember a few months back, I talked to Jerry Rieger, a friend of mine who is checking off his bucket list. And he mentioned that he is retired and that he plays a lot of pickleball. So the question I asked, of course, well, what is pickleball? What's this thing going on with pickleball? And I started doing some more research. Well, in finding out about pickleball, I also realized that it's a sport that multi-generations can play. There are not a whole lot of young people playing it yet, but like I stated last week when we were talking to Brian Walters about cricket and finding sports that don't have the physical negativity impact on a child's body, we're looking for sports that we can put our kids in and that they can enjoy and have some fun. But pickleball has kind of taken off between middle age and senior groups so far. At least that's from the research that I'm seeing. And it is a cross between tennis, badminton, and ping pong, like I said. Well, I was a ranked tennis player in the state of Illinois in high school, played one little bit in college, and then I retired because of the negative impact of sports on my body as a young person. I had a bad knee. I had a bum knee. And so I haven't really played any organized sports since then. I've run a little bit. And so I'm looking for activities as I get older to be involved in so that I'm not just being sedentary and I can get out and get some exercise, meet new people, the whole works. And so pickleball is one of those things. And I found out that they play pickleball Right up the street from my house on Thursday evenings at the rec center, they come in and they mark off the basketball courts inside. They tape up the courts, and play pickleball. So I've gotten a chance to play, but you can play it both indoors or outdoors on a badminton-sized court, slightly modified tennis net. It's played with a paddle versus a racket in a plastic ball with holes. I know it sounds really, but we've seen those balls, wiffle balls, I think is what we call them, little hard plastic balls with holes in them. That's the kind of ball that it's played, and it's about the size of your hand, depending on the size of your hand, but it's about the size of your hand, and it can be played as doubles or singles. It's a game for everyone. Like I said, there are over 15,000 indoor and outdoor courts in the United States. And at this particular time, it's estimated that 2.5 million people are playing pickleball in the United States. So where did it all start? Well, pickleball was started in 1965 on Bainbridge Island, a little ferry ride from Seattle, Washington, where three fathers were looking for something for their kids to do one summer. They, how kids talk about they're bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. And so they are credited with creating the game. So the pickleball court is basically about the size of a doubles badminton court. And not to be technical, but 20 by 44 feet. The court can be striped, similar to a tennis court. Like I said, we use the basketball court at the rec center. A lot of places just tape off a tennis court, make it a smaller size court. And there are even some cruise ships that are actually doing this on the sea, like MSC Cruises has hosted several pickleball groups recently in the last few years. Courts can be constructed specifically for pickleball, or they can be converted, just like I mentioned, for tennis and badminton. When playing pickleball, each player will need a pickleball paddle, which is smaller than a tennis racket, but larger than a ping pong paddle. So to me, it looks like a ping pong paddle. So imagine that in your mind. It's the shape of a ping pong paddle, but it's larger. The grip is more like a tennis racket, but the head or the paddle part, the racket part that you would think about, is shaped just like a ping pong paddle. And they're made of lightweight composite materials, including aluminum and graphite, and can be anywhere from 6.5 to 8 ounces. And I haven't played much because the day that I played, a lady was very kind and let me use one of her extra paddles. And so it's hard for me to decide that I'm going to go and just stand around and hope that someone gives me a paddle. I want to go and actually learn the game. And there are some clinics. So I'm waiting for one of the clinics, the beginner clinics, to come up. And the instructors have different paddles that I can try out before I go make a purchase. I don't want to spend a lot of money on a paddle. And they're anywhere from $40 all the way to $100 or $2. But I probably will change paddles as I get better, because as you get stronger and more confident, you change. But I don't want to spend $80 on a paddle and then 3 months later or 2 months later, I've got to go and get another one because it's too heavy, too light, or whatever. But anyway, and then you've got your wiffle ball. So what do you wear, as a lady would ask, on a pickleball court? Well, I'm happy to say, and I was so happy to find this out, that I can go back to some of my tennis-style dresses. No, I'm not too old. Yes, they have some very cute ones nowadays, and it's been a long time since I've been in a tennis skirt. But anyway, tennis-style dresses and skirts for females are very common. I've seen a lot of people in shorts, of course, shorts and t-shirts. If it's not very formal, you're just out practicing. I'm sure tournament play is a lot more formal, so people, dress more appropriately. Comfortable court type shoes are a must. And that's the other thing. You don't want to wear running shoes. You don't want to wear cross trainers. You want to wear something like a tennis shoe or a court shoe. and no high top basketball shoes or that type of thing. But if that's all you got and you're interested in going out and playing for the first time, then you wear what you have, because that's exactly what I did. I wore my running shoes when I went the first time. Some do highly recommend eye protection. Why? Because they have a thing at the front of the net called the kitchen, which is hilarious to me that they call it the kitchen, where you have to, it's at the net, but it's probably 2 feet, a foot and a half, 2 feet, I'm going to say, from the net that you have to stay out of. But they do a lot of net play. So you serve, you volley, and you come to the net. Just like tennis, right? Only in tennis, you can come right up on the net, as long as your racket doesn't go over. Well, in pickleball, there's what they call the kitchen. There's a line that you have to stay behind, but they want you to play at the net. That was the toughest part for me, was staying out the kitchen. I love me some kitchen for sure. But that's why, because you do a lot of volley where the ball actually does not hit the ground. You're just hitting back and forth with your opponent. So it's a super interesting and fun game. Anyone can play. It's not as stressful on your body as tennis. You don't have to move as much. And that's why I like it. And that's one of the reasons it's one of the fastest growing sports in the United States, especially among our senior groups. To find out more about pickleball and where you can play in your area, you can go to www.usapa.org and find out more about pickleball in your area. I'm going to take another quick break. This is Karen Duncan, your bucket list buster. When I get back, we're going to talk about trends, hotels, investing in your sleep. Talk to you in a minute.
Do you feel like you're drowning in administrivia? Do you have a podcast you would like transcribed to repurpose as a blog or even a best-selling book? Rhonda's Virtual Office is the answer to the freedom you crave so you can get busy doing what you love. Let Rhonda's Virtual Office give you the relief you need. Visit rhondasvirtualoffice.com and get some peace of mind today. Rhonda's Virtual Office is the go-to transcription service for EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the EWN Podcast Network.
Hey there, Karen Duncan here, your bucket list buster, and we just finished talking about pickleball, and I wanted to tell you about one of the trends that I found out about this week. You know, all of us go to hotels, or not all of us, but a lot of us at some point in their lives, and actually that's one of the reasons I ended up in the travel industry, was because I have a fetish for hotel rooms. I absolutely love going to a wonderful hotel with a plush bed that I don't have to make up when I get out of it. Nice clean lines, fresh towels, a great view from the window, room service. Yes, I'm a diva. I am a hotel diva. That is what I love. And when I was, I had very young children at home, and I was a sales manager for an insurance company that I won't name. And I was having to travel quite a bit, which in a lot of people's minds would be a terrible thing. Yes, I missed my children, but I also needed the break from my children. And I would take those opportunities to read, take a long soaking bath, order room service, and just have some alone time. What do I always say? Relax, rejuvenate, and reconnect. And reconnecting was with myself and being able to just take a breather for a little while. As a mom, working a full-time career with 2 little kids and a husband and a house that I had to manage and run, as well as agents that I was running at the time, or manage at the time, I should say. I needed the time to get away and just take a break. So Hotels are now recognizing that that's what people need. Not only is it a place that you come to stay because you've got a end experience that you're there for, either vacation, business meeting,